Just about. Okay.
There we are.
Well, I'm going to pull it up.
Hey, everybody. imho.love's about to go live. Hi, Facebook. And we're also on YouTube Live. If you close that door, Bob.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you very much. We're just checking our notes and get a little something to drink, or like Eric Bogosian says, get a nice cup of coffee and relax. Who relaxes with a cup of coffee? Anyway. So
people with ADD do.
Yeah, it's true. You go the other way. Yeah, you go the other way with that. And hey, we really appreciate you listening in. I'm going to get you up on the screen here. We got a good board up tonight with Bobby, and he knows how it goes, man. So, all right, we got some live here. There we are. There we are. Page. All right.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the radio show. Welcome to a new year of 2019. This is the imho.love show. That's in my humble opinion, .love, and I'm Lou Angelwolf. So happy to turn another calendar. Here next to me is my co-host, Michael Murburg.
Great to be back, Lou. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a year since I saw you. But anyway, I hate that joke.
God damn, where were you when I needed a backup in second grade?
Folks, thanks everybody. Hey, Rick Boucher and Pam Worthington-Nash for listening in. Like I said, today is the second day of Janvier, the year 2019. Now, this does seem like the future. 2019 sounds like a futuristic year, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be walking on air suspended elevators by now.
Yeah, at least some Jetson stuff, zipping around town.
Yeah, to have transport machines where we could get from one place to another.
I'm sure all that stuff is available.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched a video of those guys that wear those bat wings and jump into a canyon.
Yeah, that's wild.
Those dudes, man, they are off the chart, man. How good do you have to be before you go, yeah, I'm into it, let's do it?
Or how light do you have to be before the calculation of the speed of drop does no longer equal the equilibrium of flight?
I'm going to venture a bet that they don't make husky batwing suits.
Do you have that like a 3XL team?
3XL.
No, sir, buddy. Sell it with a coffin.
We have to make up some volumetric wingspan. We have the Wright brothers tri-wing next to us here.
It's like don't worry about breaking your arms when you hit, because it'll already be broken from the flight.
That's true. Well, folks, this is the IMHO, in my humble opinion, and that's what all this stuff is, man. If you're watching Talking Heads and there's words flying out of their cake hole, it's just an opinion written by them or someone else, or sometimes they're just talking heads and they read what they're supposed to read. But consequently, this show's a little different. It's all free and independent thought. Michael and I like to, we both have beards, so we like to pull on them and contemplate. So we're just trying to figure out the big picture, which I think is only normal. To me, it's the most entertaining train of thought.
We're looking for the husky picture. Especially after the 7 pounds I gained over Christmas.
Did you gain some weight over
Christmas?
No,
I'm just kidding. That's a national average now.
Yeah, I lost over Christmas. I've been still doing the no sugar thing. I got a little slack a couple days, but
Cool.
Here we are. And folks, it is 2019. We're on the west coast of Florida. The beautiful, balmy 77 degrees outside with a little breeze coming off the Gulf. We're right there, right in the Clearwater area, which is kind of like Tampa's beach if you're looking at a map. And we love it here, man. Nice place. I've been here on and off for 50 years, and man, it's a cool place. It's getting a little crowded. I gotta say, it's getting a little crowded.
Yeah, it was tough getting down here today.
Yeah, yeah, it's all chess moves, man.
Yep.
Yeah, we may have to talk about LLL.
It's like I said, the anisotropic day, you know?
The anisotropic day. You and your... That's... Anisotropic has got to be, what, an 18-word score on Scrabble?
Yeah, it was so tough that I used it like 3 years ago, and I couldn't remember it. And I put a message into the brain system, and eventually it came out.
Well, it's sometimes there's stuff on your hard drive. You just got to hit a couple of, defragmentations, and they'll come back around.
I was surprised it was there, though. So
yeah, very good. Anisotropic, great word. It's the compression and decompression of sound.
Pretty
so
much.
If you're having an anisotropic day, you're hearing it come on.
Yeah.
There it goes. Yeah.
And it's repetitive. It's a hell of a day.
It's a droning.
Whoa.
It reminds me of an old joke. This couple goes on a cruise and they land on the island and they're there for a couple of days and they notice this drumming, just this constant drumming. And the guy asks the guide, he goes, "What's up with the drumming?" And the guide goes, "Drumming good, drumming stopped very bad." So the next day, it's still going on. They drummed all night. Next morning at breakfast, he goes, "Hey, could you tell me what's..." I asked another guy, "What's up with the drumming?" He goes, "Drumming very good. Drumming stopped very, very bad." So the guy goes, "Okay, well, now we're on into the next afternoon." And he finally just finds somebody with stripes on their shirt. And he goes, "Hey, man, what is the deal with the drumming?" He goes, "Drumming." He goes, yeah, I know. Drumming good, very, very good. Drumming stopped very, very bad. What happens when the drumming stops? And the guy goes, "Bass solo."
Man, that hurt. Sounds like an ayahuasca ceremony there.
Sorry, Ian Bartholomew, if you're listening, a very cool bass player. And Vinnie Barber, another cool bass player. But anyway, that was the joke. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is... Man, the world is a lot bigger than you think. And I see a lot of people, especially if you browse social media with any gusto, you're going to find people posting all their daily pains and issues. And man, some of it is relatively petty. Not to minimize their problems. Sometimes it's a big problem for them or whatever. And one of my favorite expressions is, don't let your world get small. Don't let little things really mean a thing. And the other thing is, too, don't let 5 minutes of a day ruin your whole day. If you run into an idiot at 9:30 in the morning, give him till about 9:45 to get out of your system, and then go on with your day. Don't sit there and dwell on your 5-minute, intervention with this jerky guy or person or woman or whatever they identify as. And, you had it, they rubbed up against you, your vibrations were off. It wasn't somebody, maybe it was somebody you were supposed to meet, but maybe it was somebody that was just there for a short lesson or a personal revelation about you. And, but man, don't sit there and dwell on it all day. It's just going to shoot your whole day.
Yeah, even the Bible says, don't let the sun set on your anger.
Yes.
So, get it cleared up before sunset and have a nice dinner.
Yeah. Hey, Leroy Spooners, listen. Paul Mahone, there he is. Johnny Sadler, Danny Fox. Hi, Danny Fox. Happy New Year to you down there. Wonderful hypnotherapist from the Sarasota area. But that's what we're talking about today, is don't let your world get small. And man, the world is a lot bigger than you think. And, ever since I was a young man, I've been seeking something higher than myself. And I, when it first started to take form, I of course took the conventional routes. I went to churches and I followed the images that told me what I was looking for might be in the same place with these images and paintings and ideas and mindsets. And for a while, it worked out okay. And then you start asking bigger and bigger questions, the ones that they don't really handle or sidestep or throw you a big question mark, which is fine. I'd rather you admit that you don't know than to give me some canned answer that isn't true, but it's the canned answer that you give. So, when did you start your journey, Michael? I mean, I know you were like an athletic guy, and you played football for Princeton and all that stuff. Was it kind of a different mindset back then?
Actually with me, because my contact has been lifelong, there had been stages in my life where the contact, I was raised Roman Catholic. My mother was Church of England, so that is a mixed marriage in everybody's book unless you're Jewish. It's just
Sure.
them.
Sure.
But it started early on with early contact. Before the age of 2. And I was kind of a good kid, mellow kid.
Mm-hmm.
I came from an athletic family, and by the time I had my second experience at the age of 9, and then again at 17, it progressively got me more mellow, so that by the time I went to Princeton, I began studying Eastern religions and philosophy, and I ended up getting a degree in classics and history, though, because there was not much of a future for somebody who was studying religion and philosophy. So,
well, there's that.
So
you can teach a great course in minimalism.
Yes, right. There's no examination and no paper due. just don't show up for class.
Well, it's really funny. And some of the most spiritually grounded people I know are almost void of possessions, or they may own things, but they have such a detachment to them.
Right.
It just blows me away, when somebody's presented with an outrageous bill or whatever, but they're so detached from their money. I guess some people walk on them that way, that they just go, oh, well, that's what it was. Okay, that's what the money's here to apply to this situation, right. Which is a very mature way to look at it.
Well, it's very Taoist. The Tao provides. Interestingly, this weekend I was writing on the subject, and there's a section in the Tao 34 that says the Tao gives birth, but it does not create. And I was like, wow, that doesn't make any sense.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I went into
Whoa.
I went into the history of the words, the Chinese that was used in the situation, only to find out that word birth in Chinese is a very basic word to induce birth. It's a very simple character. However, the word for create is a character in Chinese that's complex and complicated and involves man, mud, dirt, water. So essentially, a lot of people have compared that character to Adam in the creation of man in Genesis 2:7.
Sure.
So that was my foray into trying to understand the universe this week. But I think I've also come to the conclusion too that most of our ET friends out there are Taoists. So
yes.
So I've kind of been on the right track with them.
I think that's the only thing you can be at that level. I mean, if they would even claim an allegiance to that kind of a mindset. But as far as the human mindset goes, it's one of the most crystalline, because it really there's no club you have to join. You can congregate with those like you, but certainly embrace those not like you sitting right next to you.
Yeah, and interesting you say that. I was also did a little bit of reading this week, and I came across an article about the theory of general relativity and Einstein's theory, how it's been set. Well, it's been set correctly by a guy by the name of Jamie Farnes at Oxford, who...
now, which part of the theory is this? This is the theory of relativity.
Theory of general relativity, and what Einstein left out, what he included initially was correct. What he included was that the universe had a cosmological constant, aka what he called it lambda, the Greek symbol lambda, and based on the critique by Edwin Hubble, Einstein removed lambda, and he ended up.
So wait a minute, Hubble came to him and confronted his
he said,
observation.
Yeah, he basically said, how can you prove that the universe is expanding, and what does this cosmological constant, which also may be consciousness itself.
Right.
How can you justify this when we have no proof for it? So what Einstein did was he removed lambda.
He redacted lambda?
He redacted lambda. He took it on the lambda. Took it on the lambda.
Oh!
So, well, I know. I had to get that one going. But what Jamie Farms has done, and he did this last year in a paper that was published in a very reputable scientific journal, found that his research involved dark matter and dark energy.
Uh-huh.
And what he ended up doing was combining them both to create a plasma out of them both, which dark matter is really cool because dark matter and dark energy, when combined, create a fluid that produces negative gravity that repels all other material that comes near in contact with them.
Yeah, the black goo.
Right. So once again, what we do get to is both Einstein and Lauza. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, Einstein and Lauza said, "Look,
I'd like to see that Venn diagram."
This is actually, it's real simple. Lauza's what Lauza proposed. Not only proposed, he talked openly about it, and he wrote outside of the Tao and the Wahoo Ching. Lauza says, "Hey, yeah, the world is a Tai Chi. You have to see it as component energies, very different energies." And he goes into 5 different kind of energies that we didn't start discovering until atomic energy was born in the last century. I'd like to speak on that some night because it's really interesting. But basically, to summarize Lauza's philosophy, it was, look, everything is a Tai Chi. The black, the white, the yin, the yang. And all of a sudden, you have Einstein coming along with lambda, and he can't justify it with proof, but he's got a hunch it exists. So, what Farnes came out with is a change in the theory of relativity that explains why the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light, which also changes the constant in Einstein's equation. It's basically setting astrophysics on its head because the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light, which means that we will never see the edge of the universe.
Oh.
And we will never see what it's expanding into.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of mind-blowing.
That's
but
big.
Once again, this is a rare circumstance with actually Farnes reduces a concept which I can manage to screw up and make more complicated than necessary. But in his words, positive mass matter surfs on a sea of negative masses.
Whoa, run that by me one more time.
Positive mass matter surfs on a sea of negative masses.
Whoa. There's my tattoo, man.
Yeah, I know. You want the equation for that? I don't. It's like,
you've got the equation.
No, no, I started to write it down, but that means
positive mass matter surfs on a sea of negative masses.
Right.
Man, that totally makes sense. And again, reintroduces the Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, and it reintroduces the social equivalent of what we're doing here with our contact work with CE5, because we are a positive mass matter surfing on a sea of negative masses.
Wow.
And we're trying to change that.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I love it.
That's beautiful.
Very simple. That's the wonder of Farnes's paper. He takes very complicated theories and concepts and boils them down to very digestible parts.
That's man, my hat's off to him, dude. He's got it. And here Einstein redacted that. Now it needs to be reintroduced. And Hubble, who I think was the guy that invented lens crafters.
Because he had a telescope to sell.
I can shave these down and sell little ones. But
NASA's paying big money. So Albert, no, we're not going to believe you.
Okay, so Hubble's wrong, right, and Einstein was always correct, even though he redacted. Still stands correct. And the new guy's name was.
The new guy's name, a young man by the name of Jamie Farnes, Farnes at Oxford.
Farnes, okay,
smart guy.
Wow.
Also, Einstein said it was redacting the lambda from the equation was the biggest mistake he ever made.
Really? Oh, so he copped to it. He knew he did wrong.
He did, but what it boils down to is it sounded like one of my high school mathematics teachers saying, Mike, you got the equation perfectly right, except you forgot the minus sign. It's like that's what it boils down to. But Einstein had the minus sign all along, and he took it out.
Ah, there you go.
So
wow. And speaking of the dark energy, there's a lot of, every once in a while in my studies and in my meditations, especially in my meditations, I experience a beautiful indigo curtain, like a black sparkling curtain. It's full of light and it's full of energy, but it's dark. And there's sometimes I'm standing next to it, sometimes it's on one of the walls in a room that I'm in, and what you were talking too about that dark energy, that goo, okay, that they've discovered a couple times on UFO crashes and alien. It was very much like if you cut open a Stretch Armstrong, and the goo came out.
Right.
But they say that power actually, that composite of whatever that is, does have anti-gravitational powers.
Right, and that's one of the things going on with the Area 51 research, and not the research, but apparently was it Bob Lazar had an element that came off of one of the crafts that created this sort of negative matter, negative energy flow. And when you think about it, when you take antimatter or negative or dark energy, and you take your regular matter, and if you can combine them in some kind of combustion chamber, you'll have continuous combustion going on between matter, antimatter, between regular matter and dark energy and dark matter. So that's a 0-point energy machine.
Wow.
So
whoa,
yeah, and it's all from the Tai Chi, the Yin Yang, the positive negativity for an electrical engine, for example.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Same concept.
I get it. Okay. And what I'm saying, and the other side of what I was saying, is I experienced this indigo curtain, sparkling indigo curtain, we'll just put it that way. And I seem to trust it, even though all my life I've been told to go to the light, stay away from the darkness, but go to the light. But in my observations as a grown person, I see a lot of people and a lot of authors and a lot of presenters and scholars, I'll just say, misrepresenting the light. And I'm finding some falseness in the light. And the other thing you got to remember, I'm an old-time Bible student, and, Lucifer, not Satan, but Lucifer, actually, it's a separate thing. Lucifer is powered by Satan, but he's actually a different entity. And Lucifer means light bringer. He was the morning star. And he tried to parallel all this stuff with Jesus, or Yahushua, who was his obviously adversary, and trying to set the mindset of the people. He too promised light. Lucy, lucid, all that stuff is all about light. And what I'm noticing in my observations here after, many seasons under this moon, that this sparkling indigo curtain seems to have a little more solidarity, and it's not blinding me. I can easily look at it. I can easily commune with it. And I have not noticed any evil in it as of yet. It is pure in its flow. It does not have high spots, hot spots. It doesn't skip out. It doesn't strobe like light that I've been promised in my life. I've had a lot of light said that was coming to me, but it wound up flickering.
Well, that's the one thing that really works for me and for the other people that do CE5 with us, is that nobody comes out of the experience of contact and says, "Oh, I feel a whole lot worse." It's awful. No, you don't. Your heart is elevated. You're beside the human element. It's all a matter of spiritual elevation. And it gets me back to what I was saying is, my transformation throughout the course of my life the contact has created higher and higher spiritual levels with me, to the point that so many of the things, car, house, all the, the trappings of wealth that I either have had or used to have, don't matter. They don't matter at all. All you have is the moment you have. All you have is your imagination, which will get you anywhere you can imagine faster than the speed of light. That too is faster than the speed of light. I had an interesting kind of a written conversation with Ray Hernandez this week, and
Ray from MUFON?
No, from FREE. Foundation for the Research in Extraterrestrial Encounters and Extraordinary Experiences. It's tough to say. It's
a mouthful.
It is. Actually, matter of fact, I was working on a Princeton group, and it ended up becoming Princeton for Research Experimental, blah blah blah. And what it turned out to be was PEEE. So my colleague says, "Do you really want an organization known as P?" Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess I got to change that.
Yeah, we should. So. We'll be acronymed to the curb.
So we'll have Hollis Polk and I and Nancy DiTetro are kind of working on that. Okay. But what Ray brought up is like so many people that say they've seen Jesus or Jesus has come to them. He said, look, let's cross the paradigm. And let's say it's not Jesus, and instead these are like a Pleiadian or a blue avian or some other extraterrestrial non-human intelligent being that's coming into these persons' consciousnesses, which they do and will, and their presences, and they're having these Jesus experiences. But because they're coming from a religious background, the only way they can interpret that is I've seen Jesus, if they have no contact with CE5 or knowledge of that stuff. So
yeah, it's like a common reference point. It's like a common reference point. And that's what, I'm going to go into more in the second half here about all that. But a lot of people started down the church path, and some people they're happy they found enough in their church home or whatever. And, Christians are getting a lot of bad press these days. It just seems like it's all just unwielding on this people. Yes, there are Christian hypocrites, and there's also every other kind of hypocrite. No matter what you are hypocritical at some point in your life, unless you live a very, very closely knit, sanitized, way of life. This constant observation about yourself.
Keep your hypocrisy small.
Yes, keep your hypocrisy very small. And but what happened to me within that circle, or those group of people. And I tell you, man, for people that just blatantly put down Christians as a group, like a wholesale put down, that's not right. And two, I can tell you, these are some of the finest people I've ever met in my life. They're kind, they're generous, they understand. A lot of them are very, very awake.
It is a gateway consciousness.
It is, and Jesus brought us the Christ consciousness, which is a definite building foundation as you ascend. And what the CE5 has brought to me as I've done all this contemplation, it has taken me to this wonderful thing. And the thing that I'm learning the most from you, Michael, is this exo-consciousness, this consciousness outside of yourself, this consciousness that's it's here on Earth, but it's also elsewhere. And that's what we are reaching out for, to commune with. That's what we want more of, to further our understanding of this universe. We've stood on all these building blocks. A lot of us went through the church life. A lot of us have gone through the spiritual part. A lot of us gone through the spiritualism. Okay. And now we're looking for something even more pristine, not attached to a mindset, an association, a set of bylaws. And as we discover this, I think that's what part of this show is about, is letting people know, it is way cool to question everything. And the name of this show is In My Humble Opinion. And I hope you like our opinions, Michael and I. We mean no harm. This is not a monetary thing. This is a This is an affair of the heart, and that's what we want to give of ourselves out into the universe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the halfway point. This is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf, Michael Murburg right next to me. We got to play the news and some ads, and we'll be back in 6 minutes. And feel free to call in for the second half. Locally, 727-441-3000. Toll free, 866-826-1340. And you can also watch the show on YouTube Live. That's tantalk1340.com. And, of course, our friends on Facebook. We'll be back in just a little bit.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Cusack. No deal came out of today's meeting between President Trump and congressional leaders, including Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer, to end the partial government shutdown in Day 12. More from correspondent Jessica Dean.
Someone who was familiar with the situation telling CNN that Schumer kept asking President Trump, look, as Democrats tomorrow, the Democrats are going to take over the House. They're going to vote on a package of bills designed to reopen the government. We're going to take Department of Homeland Security out. We're going to continue it. We're going to allow for 30 days so we can continue to negotiate specifically on that and then reopen the rest of the government. And this source saying that that Schumer asked President Trump 3 times why he wasn't going to accept that. And on the 3rd time, that's when he said, because I would look foolish, according to this source, if I did that.
The effects of the partial government shutdown are being felt in Washington, D.C., where the National Zoo and Smithsonian Museums have been shuttered. Correspondent Nick Watts says in an effort to keep Joshua Tree National Park open in California, volunteers have assumed duties typically done by park rangers.
This is normally one of the busiest times of the year here at Joshua Park. It's cold, it's crisp, it's clear. It's only 2 or 3 hours from Los Angeles, but this year they are really struggling. But the reason that those local people are mucking in is back in 2013, during another government shutdown, this park closed entirely, and many of them nearly went bankrupt.
During today's cabinet meeting, President Trump said he effectively had fired former Defense Secretary Jim Mattis because he was not satisfied with his performance. Trump also defended his plan to pull U.S. troops out of Syria.
Syria was lost long ago. It was lost long ago. And besides that, I don't want, we're talking about sand and death.
Stocks finished the first trading day of 2019 with small gains. The Dow was up by 19 points at the close, the S&P adding 3, the Nasdaq rising by 31 points. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Oh, hey.
Hey, did you hear? My friend's company was the victim of an email impersonation attack.
It's a serious threat to every business.
What if cyber criminals target us and trick accounting into making a wire transfer?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda.
So we're secured?
Yeah. Barracuda uses artificial intelligence to detect and block spear phishing and account takeover attempts.
What a relief.
Don't become a victim. Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you talk faster when your phone has only 1% battery left.
Hey, hon, what's up?
Hey, sweetie, can you pick up Kitty Litter fabric softener? Oh, the lemony fresh kind. And French vanilla non-dairy creamer on your way home from work.
What?
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at Geico.com.
Why are you talking like that?
Gotta go. I'm taking Kevin to Taekwondo and I only have a...
Honey? Hello?
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hi, this is Prior Smith speaking from Toronto. Join me Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., again at 12 noon, for Canada Calling, the update of news from home for vacationing Canadians in this network's 65th season. Canada Calling, a listening tradition right here on the Tan Talk Network, WTAN AM 1340 and FM 106.1, WZHR Zephyr Hills, AM 1400 and FM 104.3, and WDCF Dade City, AM 1350.
Don't miss the Craft Beer Hour every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll bring you up to speed on craft beer events and festivals, local breweries, and interview the brains behind the brews. So grab a pint and listen to the Craft Beer Hour every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network, and visit the website, thecraftbeerhour.com.
Hey, did you know there's a live psychology talk show Thursday and Friday at noon where you can call in and get free guidance and also learn several different topics relating to ending the stigma on mental health? It's called Moments of Clarity on WTAN 1340 AM. It's with licensed therapist Tiffany Warner, who will try to end the stigma on mental health. But the only way you can do that is to listen to Moments of Clarity Thursday and Friday at noon on WTAN 1340 AM, the Tan Talk Radio Network.
I don't think it's a truck at all.
Hey, Facebook, we're about 1 minute out. About 1 minute out.
I think we just found a transformer.
This is Optimus Primer Button, leader of the auto part junkies. And I'm calling on all auto parts junkies to listen to nostalgic radio and cars every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on Tan Talk. This is Optimus Primer Button. If you don't tune in, it will be the end of the world.
Hi, this is Tim Del Toro.
And I'm Lou Angelwolf, and we are the Grease Gurus.
Our show is broadcast every Saturday morning live at WTAN Tan Talk Radio 1340.
That's 10 o'clock every Saturday morning for an automotive forum that is flavored with humor and insight.
We encourage you to call in and be part of the Grease Gurus show.
We'd love to have you, and we will certainly help you find your inner grease.
This show is sponsored by Tim's Performance Service Center in beautiful Tarpon Springs at 906 Verona Place, and you can reach us personally at 727-543-1601.
Aha.
Initialize sequence.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox.
This is Kelly Preston. I'm so excited.
Hey, this is Rose Sawyer.
I'm Kirstie Alley.
I'm Kathleen Gatty from General Hospital, Dr. Liesel Obrecht.
Hello, I'm Butch Patrick.
John Snyder, you're listening to Dawn Reese on Hollywood Connection.
Lights, camera, action!
Hollywood Connections is here to help you get connected in show business.
So get connected and listen to Hollywood Connections, Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Enjoy!
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. imho.love. We're here for the second half. We're going to be here till about 8:30 Eastern time tonight. Thank you so much for listening in, watching on the various forums, the Facebook and YouTube and all that wonderful stuff. I'd like to thank our opening band, the Scorpions. And actually, that song is called Coast to Coast, and because I think we're doing kind of a like a subset of Art Bell's Coast to Coast here a little bit. So that's my little subliminal thing, you know. Cool. So, well, anyway, folks, tonight's topic is the world is a lot bigger than you think. And, you know, as I speak with a lot of people on various levels of, you know, I have people call me with problems and issues, and sometimes I can help them out. Sometimes I can't. I try to be a broadcaster of positive messages, you know, letting you know that it's really not as, you know, they say don't sweat the small stuff, and the reality of it is it's almost all small stuff. So as you progress and move forward, and that's where we're at now, is we came from simple ideas of finding out who made us, where we came from, what this is all about, and then we sped through our younger lives, and here we are contemplating and examining the exo-consciousness that is really, really happening in a big way. Now, one of the things that the imho.love show does is it covers CE5. CE5, for those of you listening for the first time or whatever, is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial entities, forces, energies, however you want to put it. And we initiate it. We ask for peaceful communication, and sometimes we get it. And it's an amazing, amazing phenomenon that happens. And the beautiful thing about it is, to me, and the reason that I'm so interested in it, is it is based in innocence. There is, you know, nobody's going to gain anything. There'll be no worldly gain from this adventure, but your spiritual gain and your energy gain, your vibration tune, all the stuff that can happen when you embrace the consciousness outside of yourself, the thing that permeates the whole world, whether it's the Higgs boson energy or the, whatever, wherever you're trying to find your glue. But I can tell you the one thing that happens over and over and over again. All these incredible minds, guys come up to, the atheistic viewpoint. Hey, it's fine, man. Believe what you like. But the one thing that almost any honest scientist will tell you is there's a lot of stuff that we can't explain, and there's a lot of stuff that leads to a creator force, a creator energy.
Well, speaking of really intelligent minds, I have to put a pitch in here, not because I have to, but I'd like to.
Well, go ahead. It's your show.
I am. You're the creative part and creator, so... and we're both the financiers, so it's only the best for our audience.
The shiniest of all hobbies.
And note the microphones; they were high tech in the 50s. But needless to say, I love the studio, and I'm nothing but glad to be here. But I will be speaking, and I've been included among some really wonderful people. I'll be speaking in Laughlin, Nevada during a week-long conference there, the UFO MegaCon, March 23rd, 2019 through March 29th, 2019. I will be speaking on the connection between the heightened states of spirituality and conscious awareness and contact with extraterrestrial non-human intelligences, UFOs, celestial beings, and the association between art history and sacred literature and the contact experience. That's the topic.
Whoa!
Yeah, so working on that one.
All the guys are doing that now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so passe. The last lecture.
It's like juggling.
Yeah, we don't know our lecture times yet, but also I'll be bringing in some of what I've written for Beyond UFOs, which was a book that was published last year, The Science of Consciousness and Contact with...
I have my copy right here.
It's a heavy-duty book, man.
I have the abbreviated version.
the Cliff's Notes, which I'll eventually get to. But
there we go.
Yeah,
it's right up.
Actually, that's just the chapter. So
yeah, well, that's all I can carry.
The book is too heavy.
It's a monolith.
But talking about it, George Knapp is going to be there, Mary Rodwell, Kate Thorvaldsen, Ray Hernandez, Lorian Fenton, Joseph Burks. These are really incredible people, and they're they are the truthful edges to what's going on in contact. This is going to be some UFO stuff. Obviously, George Knapp is there for the UFO stuff, but the other names that I mentioned are really consciousness.
George Knapp or George Norrie?
George Knapp.
Okay.
But the other names that I've mentioned here are really consciousness based researchers who are good scientists and experiencers and contactees. And I'd also like to add, in line of what you were saying, this show and CE5 are vehicles for contact and for the creator of it all to reflect its love to us and each other.
Yes.
And that's essentially what I think we're doing with this show here and bringing it to people. And, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to write them and send them. You can either send them to imho.love or find my CE5 site. We will also practice CE5 at least monthly, sometimes multiple times a month here, Lou and I and the rest of the group. So
we got one coming right up.
Yes, we do.
It's this weekend, right?
It's this weekend coming up.
And the moon's going to be in what position?
Very good. It's going to be a very slivery moon.
Slivery moons.
Yes.
The kind you drew when you were a kid.
That's right. The opposite of the full moon, which is something you used to do out your window.
See, and the CE5 experience is great. And if you want to find out more about it, you can contact Michael at the attorney.
Yeah, no, you can actually, Darby Ranch at gmail.com is a way to get
Darby Ranch at gmail.com.
Right.
Darby
okay. Ranch,
Darby, DARBY RANCH at gmail.com. That's Michael's email. You can email. He'll send you a protocol of what the CE5 is about, because it is something that you need to know. It's something you just don't show up, with slurping a soda and go, what's going on here? You need to know a little bit about it before you make the adventure. But our vision of this is we share because we would love to see CE5 groups all over the state, all over the Southeast, all over the country, and they're happening. Now, I know one of the first couple weeks, Michael, we were on, you had an extensive list of people that have been in contact with you about the show.
Oh, God,
And
the list has gotten so long that the number of groups that I post to is beyond 80 now.
Oh, wow.
It takes me at least an hour after we know the show just to post to the separate groups on Facebook.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah, and they've all been requested jumping on and saying, hey, send us your stuff.
Love to, man. And I mean, we have people as New Zealand and Sweden and Germany.
And places whose names we can't pronounce.
Yeah, there's somebody from Madagascar.
Yeah.
And what's that other one? Mauritania.
Yeah, and Aotoria. And God, they're all over. But I had one friend contact me this week, and we talked about there are a bunch of CE5 groups out there that don't have a place to practice, and they have to go out and rent fields or find public lands where they can gather and go to.
Sure.
And we're actually having a film company coming up to Darby Ranch to kind of film us at some time in the near future.
Yes.
Because they for some reason they think it's we're doing what's right and setting a good example where somebody gets involved with CE5 and has a place for other people to come and gather and meditate peacefully and engage in this. And even though all places are not ideal, I mean, let's face it, Area 52 is in a bit of the flight path for both the military aircraft, for local aircraft, and for Tampa International Airport. And even though we do get plenty of contact early on in the night with orbs and craft showing up around the ranch, it's not until the traffic dies down that you get a chance to have more contact, or it seems to occur more frequently.
We've had some really great stuff after 1 a.m.
Yeah,
when the flight patterns slow down, and and it's a long way. If you think back on your spiritual walk, that you would be involved in such a thing, that you've really loosened up your spiritual feelers, your antennae, and the thing I love most about this whole adventure is it's very, very innocent, and we're not really, this really is moving forward in faith. Okay, there's nobody telling us how to do this. There's nobody. There's no governing sanction over it, and there's no bylaws and all that other stuff. But we are doing our best to imply an order and to keep redefining. The intent is that we are peacefully extraterrestrial contact or exo-conscious contact in whatever form that it comes.
Right.
And the show has drawn some people in our experiences out there in Area 52. We've had channelers come. We've had a lot of experiencers. We've had abductees.
Right.
So this is a very, very real thing. And I'm really, really happy to be experiencing it at this point in time. Bobby, what we got in there, buddy?
There was just someone calling up to say they enjoy the show.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you very much. And your pizza's going to be 20 minutes late. But
that too.
The thing I like to say, too, is that the people that have become involved in this, doctors, lawyers, professors, they've all risked their reputation and basically taken their career futures and kicked them to the curb by being involved in this. Because the minute, I mean, it happened with John Mack is a perfect example as head of the Department of Psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. They almost tried to boot him out. It wasn't until Danny Sheehan defended him that they said, "Oh, okay, you can actually treat abductees who might need somebody to talk to."
Right.
But everybody since then, you mentioned this, and they automatically start thinking, the tin hats and antennas and that sort of thing. I know for myself that any kind of hope I'd ever had at becoming a circuit court or federal judge went out the window, because, hey, this is my reality. And I think it's more important to put this forth, because this is the big rodeo. This is the most important thing that's going to happen to the human race ever. Period.
Ever.
And people who and it is real. And people who want to turn their backs on it and don't think it's real, that's fine. Eventually, you're going to turn around and you're going to come to the light. And it's amazing. The people that are sacrificing their careers and their literally livelihoods to do this and get this word out is astronomical. And those are just some of the names I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and it's funny. My career in stand-up comedy actually helps. So, and this guy, he's a UFO guy.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
He's a wacky guy. Yeah. But anyway, I'd like to say hi to a lot of our listeners out there. Paul Mahone, Kevin Briggs, Nancy Zubler, Sebastian Villalobos. What a great name, Sebastian Villalobos. Kenny Hutton, of course, our buddy Leroy Spooner has been on the show a couple times. Great guy, wide awake. Johnny Sadler, Barry Hart, Danny Fox, Jack David, brother, I'm going to get down there and do some comedy for you one of these days.
Hey, what's the call-in number here again?
Pam Worthington, Lash, yes, indeed, the girl, and Rick Boucher.
What's the call-in number?
The number here at the studio, if you want to call in, if you want to share an experience, 727-441-3000, or if you like toll-free numbers for no apparent reason, 866-826-1340, and you can watch the show on the YouTube live podcast on tantalk1340.com. Currently, we're on Facebook Live right over there. And, if you want to watch the show, we can get it to you.
Yeah, you can always go to imho.love. You can.
That's the mothership.
The mothership. You go there, subscribe, like it, subscribe it, and you can always find us if you need to do your laundry and want something to listen to.
Yeah, I got some Marshall Cook, Vinny Montello, Rose is there, and Donna Rouge.
Yeah,
and
Donna. Hey, Donna. I mean, you talk about gifted experiencers. Donna, you're just absolutely the best.
Very nice. So, but anyway, folks, we're, just to construct a little support of our earlier stuff, it's amazing the things that people believe, and talk about not letting your world get small, especially within the church. There are, and I did the church thing for a lot of years, and I studied the church itself, kind of unbiasedly, kind of in a neutral zone. And I love all these people, man. I love these people that are seeking, and they warm my heart. And consequently, there are about 188 divisions of Protestantism. And then within those divisions, they fractionate down into the tens of thousands.
Yeah, which just goes to show you that dividing things is infinitesimally small.
Yeah, and each one thinking when they made their break, there's the Northern Baptist Church congregation of 1812. There's the Northern Baptist Church congregation of 1832.
And fans of Mozart.
And, and it just goes on. But there's one thing that I like to, it kind of exemplifies, what I'm trying to say tonight, is don't let your world get small. Like the Amish and the Mennonites, which are some of the straightest living humans on earth. They really, really are in tune with the earth, with their universe. Yeah, they got some weird stuff they show you on TV. But that's because they make it look that way. But
TV isn't real. I mean, if you think TV in any way is real, you're really missing.
You're really missing it, man. You're not. It's presented the way they want to present it. Every piece of information, every TV show that you look at has been prepared for your scrutiny, your enjoyment, your disdain, whatever they want to do it to you with that. That's what they do. Because you know what it is. They sensationalize everything, and you know what? Day-to-day life really isn't that damn exciting. But the one thing that the Amish and the Mennonite, very observant people, great family structures, all that stuff, they split up. They split. They were very similar at one time. And the reason they split is one group, as the fashions changed in the world, they would use a wood pin with a hoop for a button. And then the other group saw the modern button, the round button going through the eyelet, which is a little more secure than the old hoop and a loop thing there. And the biggest separation over that was the one group said those round buttons make us look like we're in the military. And that was enough to separate some groups. Round buttons. This is on clothes fashioning that we're talking about.
Yeah, it all gets kind of crazy. Growing up as a Roman Catholic and having a mixed family, I came to realize that, we weren't allowed to worship in other people's churches, but I used to go anyway. And I took a look at Episcopalianism, and I came to the conclusion that it was Catholic light.
Right.
And then I went to the Methodist Church, and my conclusion was, this religion is let's do what's convenient. I kind of like it. And then Lutheran, the Lutherans were like, yeah, just taller than Episcopals. More Germanic. But, and then I finally tried the Unitarian Church. I told my dad, I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to try the Unitarian Church. I was like 18, 19 years old. And he was kind of disappointed because he was a daily attendee at Mass. He was very spiritual in his own way.
Okay.
And I said, Dad, I think I'm going to become a Unitarian. He goes, well, that's like having no religion at all. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea.
I'm glad you agree.
So, after that,
awesome.
my Christmas goose was cooked,
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? But
didn't stop the spiritual quest, though.
Yeah, it's really amazing. There's a lady down at the Unity Church down in Clearwater named Letty Hammock. She's a beautiful...
Great name, though.
Letty Hammock.
Does it bottom out?
Yeah. Just a beautiful lady with long, flowing red hair, and she's older than she looks. She looks so radiant. She really does have a wonderful, beautiful spirit. And I've talked to her several times over the years, and most of it kind of came from like a legalistic point of view. And I'm glad I've surrendered a lot of those, and which with her endorsement, gave me another side of the other side of the pole to look at, and I got to tell you, folks, it's not as complicated as you think, and you don't have to join anybody's club. You don't even have to give them your email address. Your church, your congregation, your relationship with the earth, with society, with the love energy is all inside of you. And to me, that if there are, there's 7.3 billion people on Earth, how many? There's more than that.
Yeah, something like that. It's
300 billion on Earth.
There's I think it's 7.3 trillion.
Not trillions. Yeah,
wait a minute, billion. And I'm thinking about the Fed. I'm sorry.
Well, the debt the Fed didn't pay.
Until it used to be billions was a lot, but
7.53 billion according to 2017.
That's the people on Earth.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what I thought. Yeah, 7.5. And it's growing exponentially, of course, because the birth rate is still exceeding the death rate. But here's the deal. If that's true, if that's how many people there are, because the reality of it is that means there's 7.5 billion religions. Because everybody takes this thing a little bit differently. I mean, I've stood next to people. I mean, I was, at the biker church at the Salvation Saloon. I mean, I was the associate pastor for a few years and sat next to some wonderful, wonderful guys.
Would you have services in the Hog's Breath over in Daytona Beach?
We did. We used to do Sunday morning. We'd go in there in bars and have a church service.
How did I know that?
Well, that's the Salvation Saloon. They're a fantastic group of people, non-judgmental. They really, really do a fantastic job. And that's where a lot of this stuff really started to loosen up. And there's the wisdom of an old guy. I don't know what his name is, and I can't even remember where I met him. But I was witnessing to him. We used to go to the jails and tell him, hey, give a little bit of your life to God, and, Jesus can heal a lot of things. And this old dude, he met me at the cell gate, and he said, let me ask you a question. I go, yeah. He goes, did Jesus Christ die for the sins of the world? And I said, yes, he did. He goes, well, I'm good then. And that was enough for him Okay? He's, I don't need to join no club. I don't need to go down and I don't need to do, that's good enough for me. And I love the simplicity of it, but I'll also tell you there was a lot more to think about than that. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, man, that's another fast hour on Earth here. Welcome to 2019. This is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Michael Murburg. Bobby, you did an excellent job. Good luck in your school year this year.
Thank you.
And I hope you learn what you're looking for. And you can always come back and hang out with these old gray guys that talk about big pictures.
And even if
Thanks
you
for
don't,
the invite.
there's always locksmithing.
There's always locksmithing. And you know one thing they'll never build? A robot plumber. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. You can catch the show on Facebook. You can catch the show on tantalk1340.com on the YouTube feed. And, of course, it'll be back at the mothership here in just a little bit at imho.love. Share it, like it, be my friend, whatever you want to do. It's all open arms. It's all good. It's all love because that's the ultimate thing. Y'all be well, and thanks for marching with us during the pacifist riot.
From the Sunshine State, this is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
We've got the world's finest music from yesterday and
Hey,
today,
Facebook,
right here
thank
at
you
your
so
radio
much.
station.
You
It's
guys
the
are
music
great,
of
and
your
yes,
life
Barry
on the
Hart, I
Tan
knew
Talk
that the
Radio
studio
Network.
is mirrored. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe it's my camera. Whatever. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening in. Share it. Give it to your friends.